truth, the lies, and politics. Informative, educative, and analytical. Getting to the real issues that affect an ordinary individual in areas of leadership, governance, social, and economy. The truth, the lies, and politics.
Good evening and welcome to the Truth, Lies and Politics here on Spirit TV. Allow me say a Happy New Year, and we do welcome you to the new year. This is the very first show of the year 2026, and we're already 7 days into the new month. Well, my name is Paul Ekrot Eke, and I'm glad that you've chosen to start this year with conversations that matter. Well, this show is where voices meet, ideas clash respectfully, and perspectives stretch beyond the comfort zones. Well, it's a place for clarity, and in a noisy world where we examine politics, our leadership, and our shared future, hopefully with honesty and courage. Well, you can be a part of this conversation when you go on our socials. That is at Spirit TV UG on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Please feel free to leave a comment, and a little later we should be able to open the phone lines when we can. You know, in the new year, we are all excited. We hope for new things. And just before I introduce my guests on the show, just to give you some things that happened during the week. Well, of course, one is where President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni had the opportunity. I think he's been doing this all over the country in different spaces, where he met the Gen Zs, quote unquote. But the constitution of that team were wondering whether all those were Gen Zs or millennials, and whether their issues were tackled. But that happened over the weekend. Also, the case where Honorable Theodore Sechikubo had taken General Shande to court over the timings of, of his registration has been kicked out. And we also have, since we're in the general elections, they've now delivered the registers to the different candidates, courtesy of the electoral commissions. But I think one of the most recent one is the disqualification of 11, candidates for the mayoral race for Machindie, and leaving only one candidate who is unopposed, and that is an NRM candidate. But we've seen before several candidates, being disqualified over one issue, over another. They run to court, and the decision stands. Guess what? The candidates who are unopposed are NRM. We haven't yet seen any where opposition has been upheld as unopposed. Well, we do get to dive into such kind of conversations and more. And in studio with me is a human rights defender, but also an aspiring woman MP for Kampala. And that is Nana Mwafrika. Mama, we are happy to have you. Nalongo.
Praise God. I'm opportunity also
Yes.
to be before our viewers.
Yes.
Thank you, Spirit.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And welcome to the
Thank
show.
you. Thank you.
Next to her is Mr. Baker Bate, and he is a journalist, but also on his bio on X, he says he studies the political environment, right? If I stand to be corrected if I have said it a little different. But happy to have you at the start of the year. Good evening, sir, and welcome to the show.
Good evening to you. Thank you for having me. It has been a while.
Yes.
I was last here.
Yes.
Nonetheless, we are here.
Yes.
Happy New Year to Ugandans.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Charles from Mushana sent his, apologies. Is not able to make it, but hopefully we shall have him in the next, episode. But we shall do proceed with our conversation. I will start with, the good and the bad of 2025, on perspective before we dive into our conversation this week. I will start with Mr. Baker Bate, the journalist. What 2025? We ended the year. We're now in a new year. Any of your good and bad in that year?
In Uganda, when you are alive, it's we don't measure the goodness on many things. We measure it on whether you are still
Because
alive.
you're alive.
Yes, that is how far. I mean, that's how low we have come as a country. That the goodness is measured on whether you are still alive or not. I'm not sure I can remember anything that can pass off as good, but we are here.
Life expectancy has increased to what? Did it increase to what? Was it 60, 64, 65?
Whatever. But we, I'm telling you, we measure success by being alive. So because there isn't so much hope that we can look up to and say this was this. But I think, and the bad, there is bad everywhere. So wherever you look, there is something that makes you angry. So sometimes you go on Facebook or on Twitter or on X and find people ranting.
Yes.
So because there are so many things that make them very angry. I was coming here and I used the road, the next road here. There is no indication that it is closed until you reach where the road is closed. So in Uganda, the one working on the road thinks it's not big business to put a signpost at where the road begins, that where it is ending, it is closed. You first reach there to find that it is closed. Because they have no regard for us, anything goes here. So that's why a road constructor doesn't find it important to put a signpost that this road is closed where it is ending. So everywhere you look, if you want to be angry, you will actually be angry because there are so many things to be angry about in this country. There are so many things that make you, the bads are too many for you to point out one and say that this is what it is. Because everywhere you look, there is something really that makes you angry.
Interestingly, one person said that Kampala is a whole construction site. It turns left, right, and center. So when you're getting at any given time, you will find something, a road, a building, or something. What the channel they have constructed.
Walls. Dust. Walls painted by dust.
Yes, all of those things. Yeah, but thank you for that, Mr. Bate. I'll get to Nalongo Nana.
Nalongo's 2025 wound up in power. We are still here, resilient. We are still here, hopeful for a Uganda that the next generations deserve to be noted towards its end. Of course, as a woman often with a dissenting voice, I spent about 3 days in Kabalagala police station.
Interesting.
October.
Just because of dissenting.
We just leading to our nomination. I think it must have been Ace or something. We just went to meet some people in Gava, and there they were. They got us and threw us inside. But like he said, there is always so much to be thankful for. We are here, we are alive, we are hopeful, and we have the zeal to keep taking strides forward.
Yes. Wow. Thank you very much. So it was part of our conversation this evening, and you can feel free to be a part of it in the comment section on our socials. That is at Spirit TV UG on X, Facebook, and YouTube. We first of all, there's the national symbol. Second, we're looking at the media, violence on the media. And then 3, the cost of dissenting voices. And I'd like to start with Mr. Bekabate. When you look at the national flag, which has, I think as of last week, they've been, several government officials came out to make statements, even the EC Electoral Commission boss. You know, these national symbols are meant to unite us, you know. Why do they now seem to be a dividing factor?
I don't actually think that we should be looking at that issue from that perspective, because the national flag and everything
It's national, the symbols.
Yes, it does not actually divide us. It is that only that it has taken on new meaning.
All right.
Yeah, because a political party, of course, the law bars political parties from using national symbols as political party symbols, but the NUP is not using it as a political party symbol. But for this election, they decided to have the national flag as the symbol of this election. So when you see
symbol of this election or symbol of unity for
yeah, whatever they want to use it for. At least now, when you find it on a car,
you
know that the person who are the reason you are relating with it, you know that this one now stands for, you know, is a supporter of the National Unity Platform or a supporter of change. So that is the new meaning that the flag has taken on. But so when you find government people begin to teach us how this symbol should be respected, how it should, the law, whatever the law, because I've had lawyers speak and they were saying that actually what this person is saying is not anywhere in the law. But the reason they are saying that is not that really they care so much about the national flag, but theirs is because now the flag has come to represent everything new. You know, it has come to represent a change of the status quo. So their problem is not really because the problem is not so much because someone is using it, but because it has taken on new meaning, and the new meaning is that whoever you find waving the national flag is saying that we should be change. Is now become a symbol of change.
But so we've seen, even as you continue on that, we've seen people still carry these flags in the NRM political parties. You know, they carry the flags. Actually, even we have seen somewhere, instead of the crested crane, there's a picture of the president in there. And where does one cast the balance now?
No, I think now if you find actually national people who support the NRM, those who had the flag before, I'm sure now, if they had them in their cars, they have started removing them. Because now when you have it, it represents that you have become now part of those seeking change. I remember one time when children who are going for a concert somewhere in Chengera during Tojikwatako, they had red ribbons. Because the ribbons had taken on new meaning, so whoever had a ribbon was like he was resisting political change. He was resisting the amendment to the constitution. So remember those children being beaten by Abdallah Chitata. Yes,
the Boda
guy. Yes, because now he thought these ones are now Museveni opponents. So now that is where we find ourselves with the black. But the highlight of all this that. At least the National Unity Platform has made this flag now a popular thing. So maybe actually the next thing you're going to find is to find that government banning the flag. You know, because you have already seen them come out say you have already seen them come out and say you cannot use the flag in ABCD. You know, so the flag in the other direction they were saying get in Funendaga. Now they are having the flag. Then it had almost become criminal for anyone to say Funendaga because Funendaga came to represent a particular message. So for me, when you see government coming out, it is not coming out simply because they feel that people are misusing the flag, because they don't give a damn. If they don't care about the people, you know. If they don't care about it, how can they care about a flag, a mere piece of cross? You know. So I think for me the reason they are doing this is because they have now the flag has come to represent change. So whoever has got a flag, now it means it's an attraction of police, of security, because for them they are for keeping the status quo. So you have to understand this through the lenses. You have to look at it through the lenses of a government trying to stop opposition, you know, but not really because as a flag in itself, as a flag, but what the flag now stands for, represents, yes. So, but you know, we're about to finish this thing in 7 days. You will not hear, you will not see
anymore.
You will not see Helen Saku begin to teach us how a flag should be used, because then her opposition to using the flag will end on the 15th. Yeah. You know, so you have to understand that through. And you know, Museveni people always want to look for everything. Always want to look for something. They want to be seen, you know, looking at anything that is trying to challenge Museveni's power. They will cling at anything. If they believe that you are using a phone as a representative of the opposition against Museveni, they will have a problem with the phone. So it doesn't really have, it really doesn't matter which symbol you use. Anything that represents anything that represents, you will have NRM people have a problem with it. And my only disappointment is that organizations or state organs that are supposed to be neutral, that are not supposed to be partisan, also entering this. Because when police comes out and says, don't use the flag, it is in essence telling you, don't stop supporting the opposition. It is not telling you directly, or Mr. Wakama is not telling you directly, but in essence that is what he's saying, that stop supporting the opposition, because now the flag has come to represent something different from what it has been representing.
Wow. Thank you very much. I don't know whether Nalongo, you have something to add there, but as you do that, do you think that the love for the country is measured by loyalty to leadership or loyalty to the Constitution?
Let me firstly add to the whole flag drama. Yes, symbols like the flag, the national anthem, coat of arms, they were meant to represent unity, independence, you know, and shared identity. Patriotism. Especially post-colonial times. But here they are getting weaponized by those with power to stifle dissent, to find an angle where, you know, they can suppress divergent thoughts, and particularly the opposition. You know, symbols that are symbols of pride being turned now into problematic symbols of fear. Yes. Because now, after seeing a border rider that got beaten with a flag, you must know that there have to be some people that are afraid of moving with it. Yes. So it's really a shame that we see symbols that should mean so well, should bring us together in pride, invoked to justify violence. It is really a shame. It is. It's not new. It doesn't surprise anybody. Like he said, anything they can use to cause a little more fear, to drive you know, state-controlled narratives, they will indeed do, regardless. Yes. So, going to what you asked, loyalty, power. The Constitution must be guarded. The Constitution has been, you know, mistreated. When you look at people fighting over a flag, a piece of cloth, and you compare what they have done to the Constitution, the heart of you know, the engine that should drive us forward, the axle, the machine that we should pedal to go forward as a country, it is only laughable. It's very laughable. Most people in leadership today, they are not loyal to what is right. They are not, loyalty is not to, for example, rights of the people. Yes. It's not the people they are caring about. It is, as you see the rallies, when you see the people that move around with the incumbent, the president, you can see that from religious leaders, it doesn't matter how old they are, age-wise, they are bent on showing loyalty
To the individual?
to an individual. We had a speaker call the president Museveni, the father, and the son was the son according to her. And then she tried to you know, make meaning. And you, the people, are the Holy Spirit. Very, very, very painful stuff.
Blasphemous, actually.
Blasphemous, indeed, if you should use that word. So it is really a shame those we should call leaders are no longer bothered by the things that matter. What bothers them is showing face to praise, to give praises to an individual. It's not even a system. It has become a gang to some of us. It looks just like a gang. There is no system there. Because the system will have hinges. It will lean on something. It will lean on guidelines. It will lean on certain laws. But it's like a gang. It leans on nothing apart from money. And the loyalty we are talking, loyalty to individuals. Yes, there is. We no longer have many leaders that are about what matters. Yes.
All right, and these are the ones that we are truly voting for into place. But like Baker said, after 15th, probably the music will change. I'm also, let me relate that to the scenes we have seen most recently of journalists, you know, and the violence on journalists. I think the most recent one is one from BBS TV, whose head was banged on a car. And there is more evidence. But previously we've seen more. I think the one, there've been several, and there is evidence around this. But does the election period, I'll start with Baker, because this is really your profession. First of all, have you experienced this before even, has there been an experience of yours in this situation?
No, I remember these days I know, I normally now avoid situations that can bring me in contact with state violence. I know the state is a violent entity, you know. The last time I actually experienced violence was sometime after the elections of 2021, when we had Mr. Chaguranya had gone to the Human Rights Office at Kororo.
You were with them?
Yeah, I was in that group of journalists they beat. And it was also during, almost immediately after an election, and the following few days, weeks, they even shut down that office of human rights. But for me, it hurts that they have beaten a journalist, because I've done this kind of work for some time now. It hurts, but it's not something that I would say is, I would spend a little time and say what they have done is sacrilegious, because they have done it to everybody. They have done it to all Ugandans. So why should it make news because they have beaten a journalist? There is no single day that there has been a campaign of the national unity platform that they have not beaten Ugandans. We are seated with the Nana Africa. I don't know whether she remembers, but I've done stories about her. She was beaten. The last I checked, she had she suffered.
I lost a body
Yes, she did.
Lost, eh?
My child was tear gassed and pepper sprayed out of my womb, and I lost my uterus.
She lost the uterus.
Sorry.
No, so we are
buried parts of us.
Yeah, we are seated with the person who was first hand. Yes, I do. We are seated with someone who has been a first hand victim of state violence. You see, so it should not make news because they have beaten a journalist, because they beat all Ugandans every day. So ours should be talking about why should the state that has got the power to protect us turn on us? Because if they are beating a Ugandan in Gulu, they are beating Ugandans in Kawempe. You saw people. I think somebody even died in Kawempe in this very campaign.
Yes,
you know, when Mr. Chagulany was at Kawempe,
yes.
They tear gas of them every day. The last they tear gas was yesterday. You know, so it should concern all Ugandans, irrespective of what kind of work they do, because the government that beats a woman and she loses the uterus. Government that beats doctors because they are showing their dissatisfaction with the way they are paid. Government that beats students for showing dissatisfaction. Government that beats everybody for showing dissatisfaction. Why wouldn't wouldn't that particular government beat journalists? Why do you think that you are exceptional?
You're too special.
You know, why do you essentialize journalists?
You're covering.
No, a government that beats
your job.
A government, because even others, you see, let me tell you, a government that beats the presidential candidate, soldiers, police, that beats the presidential candidate. Because there is a possibility that
there is a camera and they are doing it anyway.
There is a possibility that Mr. Chagulany can become president of Uganda. But the police is beating him. So if it can beat a presidential candidate, who are you journalists going to be beaten? So we should spend our time on we should spend time on talking against beating anybody. So nobody has any right to beat anyone.
How did we arrive at this point? Like, how did we, because is that from when the government's changed? Was it before? Have we just inherited this? You know, because something could have been a trigger for this. Because from your own experience and perspective, because you've had this, yes.
No, you see, the only way you can rule over people for 10, 20, 30, 40, now you are going 50 years, to make 50 years. The only way you can rule against people for all that time is through violence. There is no people, even in your own home. Let me tell you, my dad died sometime 20 years ago. So I have at our home, my mom, she's going to make 70 years sometime, maybe 2 or 3 years from now. So, but now even for her to undertake any decision in the home, she asks me, this is what I want to do, what do you think?
At her
power in her home is not contested. Nobody is challenging my mom's power in her own home. But she thinks, but there is a level that you get at and you can never do things alone. Even in your home, sometimes actually you find other homes where there is contestation between man and woman, or children and parents who should be in charge. If you can have that in a home, how about a country? There is no way you can rule over people for 40 years and they are going to be clapping for you. Even if actually Mr. Museveni had done everything wonderful, he would still have opposition because it is impossible to rule over people for 40 years and they are only clapping for you, or they are willing, they are, subjecting themselves to your rule. So the only way you can rule over people for such a long time is through force. Because left to their own devices, there are not so many people who are willingly, if they are not motivated by other material benefits or the fear of what might happen. There are few people who are willing to vote for a person who has been in charge for 40 years. So violence becomes the only alternative to beat them in order. Because you see, when you roll out an election, and you say let people go and look for vote and let the best man win. So then why do you beat them? Me, I've in Kasangat there, when Mr. Chagulany was campaigning in Kasangat and in Kira, I was there. Someone says you are going to hold a rally at a particular point X, say here. And what he does, he closes all the roads leading to the rally. And he beats everybody. After Chagulany has passed, they begin to beat everybody following him. So what kind of election is that? You know, yesterday he was supposed to be in Karamoja. He did not proceed. Because of the violence, he was blocked. So what kind of election is that? So surely the only way you can really survive, the only way you can extend your power beyond a certain limit is through violence. And this is what explains it. Otherwise, left to a free and fair election now, I'm not sure that President Museveni can compete in a free and fair election, because you see, election is in themselves. When the court in Kenya was determining the 2017 election, Uhuru Kenyatta and Laila Odinga, in the decision, the Supreme Court said that an election is not an event. It is a process. So therefore, we begin to monitor the election right away from the process. So you cannot claim that this vote was free and fair when the candidate was unable to campaign. When people, for us, the electorate, we are unable to meet our candidate for him to speak to us, to explain to us why you should be voting for him. You cannot say that that election was free and fair when you are denominating candidates. You cannot say that election was free and fair when you are using underhand methods to say candidates are pulling out when they are not pulling out. You cannot say that election was free and fair when the candidate has not been able to put up posters. When he puts up posters, they are removed. When you move in Kampala, you might think that it is only Museveni contesting in this election. Everywhere you only see his posters and banners and what have you. Not that his opponents are not interested, but let them try to go and put election paraphernalia so on around about at Chibuye and see what will happen. So that is not an election. So at the end of the election, you cannot say that election was free and fair because the entire process was not.
Interesting. And I know we'll get back to that point. For now, we could, Nana, you who's experienced this firsthand, and I like that you've moved away just from the journalists to everyone being beaten. Do you think that dissent is treated harshly? Even for the women, is it harsher on the women, or it's all the same? It's all the same. And do you think that this political season normalizes the brutality or the violence that we experience?
The brutality that we are witnessing, like he has said, it's not something new. To a society that learns from their experience, it shouldn't shock us or make news anymore. It has happened to those before us, Dr. Besigye. It has happened to children. It has happened to women. It has happened to old women, young women. It is no longer something that should make news. It's something that...
Doesn't that make us cynical now? It's why this has happened before.
Yes, the cost of political dissent, it's a heavy one. It's a very heavy one. It's it comes at...
You have both that, and not once, not twice. You've been in jail, you've lost a child, yes.
The child, God is good, the child is living, thanks to science and technology.
Thank God, yes.
He survived, but I'm a woman that has no womb. So for me, when he reminded, and thank you for reminding me, now that you say it, I remember you interviewing me not once, maybe not twice. As a woman that has experienced this firsthand, I would say that there are no accidents, there is nothing new to be shocked about, it's systematic. Beating up journalists covering rallies, see what happened to, is it BBS's Ivan Mbadi only a few days ago? This is, it is rehearsed. Do this to impact another mind, to impact another journalist.
What message do you think is being sent there?
The message is scare the people on time, scare them on time to secure an environment that's going to keep so many people away from the election, an environment that will continue to enable the authoritarian regime. I'm very sorry. I mean, thinking about it.
That's okay, sorry.
I do count every year. You talked about 2025. I think beginning from year 2016 up to now, there isn't a year when I am not violated and violently arrested, to be thrown in a filthy environment of very dirty, congested police cells, sometimes at the women's prison. So for me, it reawakens really emotions
Painful
that I didn't want to bring here.
So,
And some people will, hail us for being resilient and everything, but how do you forget something like losing a uterus and nearly losing your unborn child at the hands of those that should protect
that
you?
are meant to protect, yes.
At a place no less than the police headquarters of a country. For what reason? Because you took a step to ride there, not armed with a stone, on appointment to an office as honorable as the Inspector General's office. And instead of facing you to talk 1-2 words, because I remember that happened in 2019. This is a time when Bobby Wine was first beaten from Busabala and all his followers, and then held at his house and prevented from leaving. He was still a legislator for Chadondo. At the same time, there had been very horrible scenes in Lukunjiri as well as Jinja. I remember the one that particularly touched me in Jinja. There is a child I used to support in a school there. And on that day, they had been given, they had been okayed to go home for something, medication or something, get better. They got caught in that mess in Jinja City. Oh my God. This affects everybody, the journalist, the woman selling her mangoes on the street. So for me, having seen all of that, I thought it prudent, as a woman that has defended human rights in this country, to write a message. And then even take due diligence. It was, I think, 22nd of April 2019. I did go to the police headquarters and asked the relevant office, how does somebody address, how does a group of women, we could have been maybe 4 or 5 that were showing up on that day, but when the rest saw what had been done to me, they were dispersed in fear. And I was told, oh, it's an important message, and the IGP office, the IGP himself, yes. I didn't see him that day. On the 22nd, I was told to come back. It was 23rd, to come back on the following day, that was 24th.
Yes.
They gave me time. And when I went back, there was a deployment at the main gate. They used to use that lower gate.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, well, it's an institution with guns and many officers. Maybe they have an occasion that calls for them to deploy. Little did I know that the deployment was for this small woman, a visibly expectant woman, as harmless as they come. I'm only armed with a word and probably the Constitution and a bit of the knowledge I have on the human rights. So I was dehumanized, undressed, sprayed with tear gas and other chemicals. I still bear scars from where they burnt me. It's not what brought us, but I take you back to show you the cost is both, there is a personal cost, there is a cost as society from excessive misuse of power, of force by people that should protect us. So for me, on that day, it's all history. I would get pounced on. In my vehicle, they broke it to get in. Once I realized their actions were about me, the deployment was for me. I had seen, sometimes I share what I intend to do, so it had attracted some journalists that were equally beaten and cameras withdrawn. So for me, this discussion took me right back to that day.
Right.
We were still coming close to an election, just like it is.
Yeah.
It always heightens towards elections because that's when they really want the impact, the fear to sink. That's when they want it. To close that up, looking at what they are doing to journalists, it's all systematic. It's all like a method to keep the nearly 40-year rule, unopposed or opposed, but by people that are completely full of fear, filled with others have given up, resigned to fate. To an extent, the ones that see us resisting like this, people will see me. We spoke of the national flag.
Yes.
Many of my protests, some lone protests, some with other women, if you look back properly, I have been wrapped in the national flag.
Yes.
I have protested with my little baby, the survivor of state brutality, on the road in his little pram, and I wrapped it in a flag too. And at the back of your mind, you are thinking, they will respect that. They will, it's like a shield, it will protect you.
It should.
2024, when the Gen Z, the young people stood to say corruption is hurting us, and they were just beaten and sent to prison. I think it must have been on the third day after that happened, on the second. As a mother, I came out, I'm like, listen to them, why are you beating them? And indeed, I wrapped my skirt, I took a wrapper skirt.
I watched that with you, yes.
And you are hoping, but they tore it off my body, and people in uniform are happy to attack you and tear that apart. So the flag, if people are beginning to be creative, 2019, I did launch it after reporting for police bond. For many other arrests, I don't collect which arrest was when and when, because there are too many. One day after reporting for bond at Kira Road, there was a group of activists that had come to give me solidarity, come and support with me. One day, 2019 still, toward the end, we stood somewhere and launched this flag thing. We mentioned that this would be used as a symbol to unite people that are thinking things could be done better, as a, kind of an apron to put on to do the very much important chores, the work that every Ugandan should get engaged in.
Yes.
So the symbol of the flag is not new to activists or people who call for better for this state.
But for this season,
like it coming out like that, and then seeing the reaction we see, looking at a woman you think is otherwise informed and educated, what's her name, begin to teach Ugandans about the flag. Really laughable.
So let me ask a question that maybe some people think, why? What keeps you going? What keeps you going back? You've been arrested, you've been, you've been beaten. Someone would say, why waste your time? Why, go back? Yeah.
With the kind of tears women like me have cried, I've already told you that the things we see being done in this regime come at a cost to both individuals and to the society as a whole.
Yes.
Physical and health costs, losing a uterus to people in uniform, under the watch of meters away from where senior officers that expected me were sitting. There is no way a family forgets that. There is no way a mother that brought me forth forgets that. There is no way that the man that fathered the child that they beat out of my womb forgets that. There is no way the society forgets that. We have very, very bad history getting written by a regime that came in by opposing another that they said was doing bad things. What keeps Nana going, and people like Nana?
Yes.
For example, you've already done so many things at a cost. You think to yourself, there is lost time, there is lost family time, there is you've lost
money,
trust of those that should keep you, there is money.
Yes.
For me, between the year that I got attacked like that, I was on a cane, I was incapacitated. I didn't have any fractures, but the doctors kept thinking it's nerves, it's something, but I was incapacitated for nearly 2 years. COVID-19 found me walking with aid. Walking with aid, and you have a little baby, and you're carrying all that trauma. So regardless of the trauma that we carry, what keeps us going? Hope that this gets better. And then the pain that if we were to give up now, the cost that's been paid is already
enormous.
too high. It's already too high.
Yes.
So what does backing out actually pay? So the history that's been written, it's not of pride. It's not one that will be read with pride by the coming generations. I believe we still have time to reverse this. The work we do is not done in isolation. God knows how many times I have tried as a person, as an individual, as a human rights activist, to do this as, I don't know, leaning on the law as much as possible.
Yes.
Every protest I have gone to, I have carried a copy of the Constitution. In that when you're being brutalized, you remind this person. The abuse is not just physical, that they beat you, there is sexualized abuse. You will hear from every activist. A big number of my activist friends have succumbed to exile. And sometimes I will also sit somewhere and wonder, what are you doing with yourself? Many have succumbed to exile, other people have died.
Yes.
People got killed in 2019. Others are in prison. Look at Dr. Kizza Besigye, a man that has only worked to tell Ugandans and tell his fellow companions in the bush, this is wrong what we are doing to an entire nation. Look at Sarah Birete. This mellow girl who just says it as it is. So the cost is very deep. Why won't we give up? One day I spoke to an elderly man in Naguru a few months ago. I would call him Grandpa. They wondered, we talked about Dr. Besigye. I told them I was from visiting him. And they said, what level of anger would push a man to take someone that should be his brother through that? We both went silent. And a man of 80 plus, I could see him weeping in his eyes. He wondered what level of anger, unforgiveness, because what keeps us going? I can't speak for others. I wouldn't speak for Dr. Besigye. Others have asked, he has his home, he has his son, he's no longer a baby. Why won't he just give it up? Why? I can't speak for him, but if I were to speak from me, there is already so much lost. There's already so much sacrifice that's been put into this. There is hope that one day the people that do these things can care for the ones they have brought forth, their own children, grandchildren. You see the president of this nation referring to our children
as grandchildren,
as his grandchildren. Abazukulu. Who does what's happening in Uganda to their grandchildren? It's very rehearsed actions. As an activist, I have been trailed. Your own children will be kids rejected from schools because people don't want to have to deal with being asked why your child is with them. A young man, my youngest child, ejected from a place where he qualifies to be because of my work. So the cost is very high, but regardless, we keep going. Why? There is hope that something good could come of our effort. We may not enjoy the fruit of the trees we are planting and we have planted, but we do hope that the generations to come may inherit a slightly better society.
All right. A big thank you very much to Nalongo Nana, and that has been very passionate, and indeed the cost is huge. We would like to see, where or how, redress and all alike. But in case you have something to say, get to our comment section at SpreeTVUG, and I would like to hear your thoughts. And when it comes to the cost, but also the violence that we've experienced or seen happen in our cities or in our towns and around our environments. This is Spree TV, and the truth, lies, and politics. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back after these messages.
Truth, the lies, and politics. Informative, educative, and analytical. Getting to the real issues that affect an ordinary individual in areas of leadership, governance, social, and economy. The truth, the lies, and politics